I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's my watch. Verizon's telling me it's 7:09. I would just indicate for the record that Aurel Locke, Susan Oki are attending remotely. Our staff person, Kate Bednaz, is doing that as well. And there are several other people on the remote feed, and they can identify themselves at the appropriate time. So, first order of business, agenda item number 2, actions on the minutes of November 12th, 2025. That was in your packet. That was distributed earlier this week, I believe, or maybe late last week. So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Fred, thank you. Any additions, subtractions, revisions, modifications? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Me.
Okay, me is Dave Tolley. Thank you, Dave. All right, first, next agenda item 3A, under permit request, 28 Copper Hill Road, D. Cody Roy, I'm not talking well tonight. Permit request to install a 192 square foot prefabricated shed on crushed stone within a regulated area. This was received at the last meeting and it was continued to tonight. I'm assuming we did not receive any requests for a public hearing on this, so we can consider it tonight. Is anyone here to present? Thank you. Would you please identify yourself and your address for the record?
Dominic Cody Roy, 28 Copper Hill Road, Granby, CT 06035.
All right, what do you want to tell us tonight? We have we have some submissions. I'm sure everyone's reviewed those. It's a permit application with photos of the area. So we have all that. I think we also have a remediation plan, a meadow plan. So what do you want to tell us tonight in addition to what you've submitted?
I think the only other thing was the last time, it's on the application about electric, but I don't think we actually talked about it.
Okay, what do you want to tell us
Just
about
to
that?
have the capability to eventually connect, light, be able to put lights in it. But other than that,
In
the shed.
Okay, in the shed.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. I don't know if it needs to be in the permit. Kate, does that need to be in the permit application?
Is there going to be a trench heading to that, you need to dig a trench in order to get the electrical over there?
Probably.
Okay. Well, we can just amend it through the meeting from the mention. I would imagine it just is going to come from the house to the shed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I have been out to take a look at this. It's in a maintained lawn area. There is a drop-off a little bit behind the house, so just to make sure if during construction, if there's any kind of rain going to come in the midst of it, but usually they put these down pretty quick with that stone base there, right? So, if you need some erosion controls, we'll have that in the permit to put those out if anything is moving. But otherwise, it's in a pretty straightforward location. The reason it's coming to the commission is because it's in a mapped wetland.
Yeah, I see that, and I'm looking at the area where it's going to go, and it doesn't look like a wetland. It looks like an area that's grassed, and there's a lawn. And
Is it the upland review area?
yes, but is it in the upland review area, or is it in the actual wetland?
It is in the upland review area, but because of the mapping, it requires the commission's approval.
Gotcha. Okay. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant or for Kate on this one? Hearing none. So we can vote to approve or disapprove this application right now. There is a draft approval letter in your packet, folks, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 conditions. Most of them are typical conditions. You'd look at that, folks. So, Kate, what do you want to do about amending the application to reflect the fact that there would be a trench?
What we can do is we can just amend the beginning of the permit or the approval letter to state that there would also be an electrical connection from the house. And then we can modify the letter that way,
Okay,
if it's amenable.
great.
Looking for a motion?
I am. I was just going to let you guys read it, but if you're ready,
Yeah.
we can do it.
I am.
Okay. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, Fred.
I move to approve the letter of approval for the construction at 28 Copper Hill Road as spelled out in December 10th with the addition approval of electrical service running underground
Okay, so that we have
to the shed.
we have a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Second, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. You're all set.
Thank you.
Was that just a pause?
Yeah. Okay, so item number 4 was to be a town attorney presentation regarding the Land Use Commission training. Apparently, Attorney Roberts, the town attorney, land use attorney, is doing these to all the boards, but he had a conflict this evening, so we're going to table that to the next meeting. Okay. 5A is show cause hearing, 249 Silver Street, Nicholsburg, conducting a regulated activity without a valid IWWC permit. This was, we approved the order, and we continued this to this evening to receive a mitigation plan for the trees that were cut down in a regulated area along the shore of a pond. Is anyone here to present that? No. Kate, what do you know about that?
All right, so Mary has the owner of the property, moved in and didn't really know about the regulations from out of town, so he promptly learned. And I think we kind of went over this at the last meeting, so you guys have the basics. He submitted the mitigation plan, and they'd actually already started. He put down rye immediately out on the property, got the grass to grow, and then had a specialist go out, and you can see the report there in terms of coming in with some additional seeding, removing the log pile so they can seed underneath that, which has been done. I am not sure, I haven't heard from him that he was able to burn the pile of brush. He was waiting for the right weather conditions, and he wasn't able to get the approval to burn. The overall mitigation plan appears to be acceptable to me. They're going to be installing some shrubs, some herbaceous plantings as well, in addition to seed. There are some areas of what appears to be unmapped wetlands, but there's no fill going in those areas. It's going to remain at the same elevation and just be reestablished with some shrub species, which they would install come spring.
Okay.
So I guess at this point, it would be if the commission has any questions about the mitigation plan, or just to approve the mitigation plan as presented, and then we'll follow up on it in the spring, because at this point, it's kind of closed up right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the mitigation plan, most of the they did immediate stabilization, as I understand it, but the bulk of the remediation will be replanting in the spring with trees, with ferns, with shrubs, black-eyed Susans. It looks like there's going to be a lot of work starting in spring, so I think we can, if the commission wants, we can approve the mitigation plan and just keep it on the agenda as Kate monitors progress. Sounds good. You want to make a motion to that effect, Nick?
So moved.
Thank you. Nick, you want to second the motion?
Second.
I'm going to keep you awake, Nick, down there at the end. All right, so we have a motion. Do you folks have any further discussions or questions about this before we vote on approving the mitigation plan?
looks pretty thorough.
It's pretty thorough, and there's going to be more trees after they plant than there were. You know, they took down a lot of
Yeah.
trees, but there's going to be a lot of replanting. So I was impressed by that. Okay, all in favor of approving that mitigation plan and keeping it on our radar?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Show cause hearing, 142R and 186 K Street, Emriel, care of Scottina Lease, I never say this right, LLC, conducting a regulated activity without a valid IWWC permit. This was continued from 10/8. The enforcement orders were upheld. I see there are some representatives on the screen for the landowner. So who wants to present on this?
This is Attorney Janet Brooks. I'd like to begin, but then I will turn it over. Am I permitted to go on camera? It said I was disabled by the host from going on camera.
We have to turn.
You don't want participants to go on camera?
We'll have to turn ours off if she turns hers on. So it's just a matter of what you want in the recording.
Why don't you tell us what you want to show us?
It was just going to be my face.
Oh.
But if you don't want to see it, that's okay.
Don't take it personally, but we'll just leave it up there, and you can, why don't you tell us, I mean, we have, Attorney Brooks, we have the notice of violation from the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, their dam program,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to go with this in terms of abeyance, because as I explained at the last hearing, once DEEP gets involved, typically, we have to defer to them. So I'll let you speak to that, Attorney Brooks, if you want.
Sure. So Attorney Brooks on behalf of the LLC and Matt Reale, and I believe, though I can't see, that David Lord, the soil scientist, is also present. Is that correct?
He just waved
Okay,
in.
so what I wanted to say was I was going to sit in the background and just listen as of yesterday until 4:45 when the notice of violation was served on my client. And at that point, the dam safety statute kicks in, and the case law that's developed, and I was unable to reach Kate Bednar's during the day, and I did speak with Kenyon, and alerted her to the fact that I would be bringing up the issue, and specifically the most recent case, the Ray case, W-R-A-Y, from New Canaan, and the DEP has consistently gone to court to protect its exclusive jurisdiction over matters that come before it, and until such time as DEEP finishes with its process, no one else has jurisdiction until DEEP says done, and DEEP says there is municipal jurisdiction left over, or there isn't jurisdiction. And I can actually read a quote from this 2011 case, where the court notes that the applicant, I'm choosing the word applicant instead of plaintiff, the applicant had a pending application for a state dam permit that the state had not yet acted on, and the quote is, "At such time as that process is completed, it will be clear what portion, if any, remains for the town to consider, and what portion, if any, of any application over which the town may have jurisdiction. Until that process has been completed, no one, not the applicant, not the commission, and not the court, has any indication of what jurisdictional area might remain to the town." So, and I've also spoken with the staff person at DEEP who's handling this, and I've alerted her that perhaps the town may have questions, and that may be forthcoming, and my client has every intention of complying with the DEEP NOV and proceeding, and the staff person from DEEP did indicate possibility, if DEEP determines, based on the submissions that my client will make from an engineer, that if DEEP determines that it's a high hazard dam, they will keep it for their jurisdiction and process the dam safety permit. If they determine that it is not a high hazard dam, they will not exercise jurisdiction, and it will return to the Municipal Wetlands Commission for further proceedings. So the first obligation is for my client to submit engineering plans within 60 days, and then for those of you who haven't had anything pending with DEEP, DEEP is not subject to any kind of timeframes the way you municipal folks are. So we turn in our paperwork and we wait. But we can certainly keep you informed if you wish on a monthly basis what we know, or however you'd like us to work it out. We can send an email of, still pending, still awaiting review, or what have you.
Thank you.
And so,
Go ahead.
so while there isn't jurisdiction over the order right now, we did want to make a good faith representation of what the team has done to date, and to that I would turn it over to David Lord.
Sure. Yeah, I did read that case this afternoon when I got the notice of violation this afternoon. And yeah, I agree on its, with your reading of it, you correctly cited. It raised a lot of questions for me, which I won't get into today. So at this point, I'm going to accept the fact that that case, puts this into abeyance. I will ask that, that the town attorney take a look at this, Attorney Brooks, and give us some guidance. But for tonight's proceedings, we kind of anticipated that this could happen, so we'll just leave it in abeyance for now. It's up to my fellow commissioners as to whether they want to hear a further presentation of what's going on up there. There are a lot of people in the audience. But I gather, there are, Attorney Brooks, there's very specific requirements in the notice of violation from DEEP. You have to do an engineering report, a construction narrative, photos and visual documentation before, during, and after repairs, environmental compliance documentations. There's a lot going on there in terms of what you need to do to satisfy the NOV. I can't imagine there are other activities going on in the site at this point with the violation, the current violation from this commission, that would allow anything other than what needs to be done to respond to DEEP's notice of violation. Do I have that right?
Yes, the client has indicated he's not undertaking any other actions other than what is required by the NOV at this point.
Okay.
And I'll let David Lord speak to if the commission wishes to hear anything further at this point.
I'm going to leave it up to my fellow commissioners.
I definitely would like to.
You would like to, Fred?
Mr. Lord. What?
Would you like to hear from from Mr. Lord tonight as to what's going on up there?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lord, why don't you tell us what's happening? I'm sure the public is interested as well.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, public. My name is David Lord. I'm a professional soil scientist and environmental consultant. My company is Soil Resource Consultants. I have an office in Meriden, Connecticut. I do have a copy of my background profile that I'll just submit to the chair. I haven't appeared before this commission in quite a while. What I would like to do is just take the commission through a few of the items that we are proposing to do that will be dovetailed in with the deep requirements for their determination. To start with, my initial association with the project and walking on site began on November 13th. That was the first time I'd walked the site, taking a look at the existing conditions out there. I have been subsequently retained to do a number of wetland-related studies, provide documentation for wetland boundaries, the character and functioning of those wetland resources. We're going to be looking at the function and values of the wetland associated with the proposed pond. And along with that, we're going to assess the current conditions as they exist today relative to the wetland boundaries that we establish. And we'll also prepare an assessment impact or potential impact assessment for the overall pond project that's associated with the dam. Those are some of the points that I'm going to be working on. Obviously, there's going to be an engineer working on the dam outlet structure. There will also be some survey work out there that will locate the boundaries of the wetland resources that are associated both behind the dam and down gradient of the dam as we move forward. Any questions or further elaboration? Yes.
Yeah, you said you're going to be doing the wetland boundaries, mapping that. What about the property boundaries? I know that's not wouldn't be your responsibility. Perhaps Matt could answer that. Have you done property boundary delineation? If not, do you intend to do that?
There are.
You gotta go.
Thank you. And you have to identify yourself. We know who you are.
96 Daniel Trace, Burlington. There are metal stakes at this time showing the boundary corners in the area that we're working in. Not way out back, but in the area that we're working in. They're located there.
So those will all be on file with the town?
Oh, everything should be on file, yeah, with the town, yeah.
Okay.
Should be, yeah. Yep. So.
Any other questions from the commission this evening? All right, Kate, do you want to weigh in on any of this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lord, for giving that presentation. It's appreciated, keeping us in the loop. I think, considering what, just occurred in terms of the Office of Dam Safety serving the NOV today, it kind of slows down our process a little bit, obviously. I think my top concerns is just continue to make sure that we don't have any sediment migration from the disturbance area going forward. Also, I guess a question to Mr. Lord would be in terms of the delineation, if there is any issues moving forward considering the time of the year to try to establish these boundaries, or how far along the delineation is at this point or is intended to be within 60 days, would be a question.
Okay. The delineation is intended to be done within the 60-day time frame. It probably would have been already completed if not for the conditions on site, snow cover. My workload delayed me in getting to the site after the 13th of November. And now the snow cover makes it very difficult to see the surface of the ground. It also makes it on this particular type of site, a safety concern where the snow is hiding something that can cause physical harm. So it will be done as soon as we get a break in the weather. It's not going to be a long process, probably 1 to 2 days of field time that I'll need to define the wetlands, basically from the northern property line down through the dam area and to the south to the property line along the south. That wetland intermittent water course feature is the area that I am proposing to work on at this point.
Thank you. The other thing that I just wanted to mention, I know I mentioned this to Matt when we were walking the site, especially considering the time of the year, I have a feeling that this may come back to us in terms of jurisdiction, in terms of talking to the Office of Dam Safety about other similar size dams. I guess it all relates to hazard, especially downstream. But one of the concerns I would have in the wintertime and having to review this is having some documentation of the areas that looked marginal. I know there's an area that extended from a wetland as you're coming in off the road or the driveway. When you're coming in, it's on the left-hand side, there's a depression, and then there's a little bit of an area that leads from that depression down on a diagonal, intercepts the road. There's some change of vegetation there, and then that leads down to the watercourse. That was one area in particular, and some other low points on the site. So if areas are not documented as wetlands, it would be appreciated if there could be some documentation of these marginal areas while you can have access to the soil profile, because that would really slow us down until spring to take a look at that.
Certainly, I have actually looked at a area that is definable as a wetland, which is northeasterly of the existing stockpiles that are close proximity to the roadway. I did define a wetland boundary in that area. It is in excess of 100 feet plus. I don't know, did you do measurement?
Not exactly.
Okay. It's in excess of 100 feet down gradient. It has to, any runoff from those stockpiles would have to also pass through at least one stone wall before it got to the closest wetland area. So that area has been defined and flagged on site at this point. And I'll look at all of the areas down gradient to the main focus of this investigation. I'll take a look at those. It's a relatively narrow corridor till you get down to the area of the dam and the proposed pond, and then it widens out. So it's not an extensively long area. It's pretty easy to get to with the access road that's been established in there. So I will include that with the study that I'm doing.
Thank you, Mr. Lord. I guess if you have any questions in the meantime, you can feel free to reach out so that when it comes in, it is something complete that we can review. If there's any questions or if you want to send something along preliminary, feel free.
Yes, I would certainly do that on a project of this size and scope. I will be sending you, when I get an appreciable amount of the work I'm talking about done, I will send it over to your office so that you can review and provide any questions or comments that we have on the work we've progressed to this point. And as Janet mentioned before, we will also be happy to, even if it's only in written form, submit some type of a summary of the movement forward, the progress on, from this point forward, on how we are approaching the deep requirements for their activity and how we're moving along with the items that I'm going to be working on, some of which will dovetail with deep, but not all will be.
And I think the last thing that I may have at the moment is that, we have a requirement in our enforcement order for inspections after rainfall events. Hopefully we won't be having too many rainfall events going forward, but if we do, we really just want to make sure again that everything stays on site within the disturbance area. It's definitely not going onto adjacent properties. So having that inspection communication for us is very helpful. I do understand if our jurisdiction does not allow that at this point, but if possible, we would love to be in those communications.
To the extent that we are able to do that under the DEP or the deep permit activities, we will be happy to comply with that.
Thank you, that's all I have at this point.
Kate, I have a couple of questions for you. Mr. Real, you were raising your hand.
David took care of it.
Okay. In the original approvals, going way back for this site, I'm just directing this to Kate, Mr. Wood. Was there a dam in that original approval?
No, there was not.
Okay.
There was a temporary stream crossing for the forestry activities, which was in that approval.
Okay. So, Attorney Brooks, and I am going to ask the town attorney to weigh in on this, but one of the things that struck me about the Ray case, it seemed as if the issue there was that there was a pending dam review by DEEP, and the town was attempting to assert jurisdiction. This situation seemed a little different to me because the dam, installation of the dam was a violation of our regulations and of the Wetlands Act, and it wasn't authorized within the original approvals. So, when I read it, and I read it very quickly in the middle of a very busy afternoon, I thought to myself, well, so someone can, under the guise of agriculture or anything, put a dam on their property, then it falls within the dam safety program, and it prevents local commissions from asserting jurisdiction to enforce their regulations. That seemed to me to be not what the court intended in its decision in Ray. And that's one of the things I'm going to ask the town attorney to weigh in on. I'm giving this to you. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, or if you can, in anticipation of that, look at the case law and see whether there's any merit to the point that I'm making right now. But I am going to ask the town attorney.
So this is Janet Brooks.
Yeah.
And what I would suggest is taking a look at the dam safety statute itself, because it's not that nobody looks at the wetlands then. It's that the Wetlands and Watercourses Act is brought into the Dam Safety Act for DEEP's action on that wetlands aspect. I mean, it specifically refers to the 22A 36 and 45. And I had occasion to represent an intervener in 2020 who was involved in, intervened into some other entities' dam safety permit application. And our interest was strictly on the wetlands aspect, not on the dam and the structure. And that was highly covered in the hearing that DEEP held. So they cover both aspects. It's not that it's lost to everyone, it's covered by DEEP. So take a look at that. Yes, it's true that if it's covered by DEEP and they take up the wetlands aspect, there's nothing left then for the municipalities, but it's not because it's not being covered.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have them look into that. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Lord?
Not at this time.
Anything else, Attorney Brooks?
And no, thank you very much.
Mr. Real? No? Okay. So we'll just, we'll table this, we'll move it to the next, we'll keep it on the agenda, Kate. I think the commission would like to keep it on the agenda so we can monitor it. And we will, have the town attorney look at this as well. Do you have anything else, Kate?
No, I don't. At this point, I think it's just, taking a closer look at this case, speaking with the town attorney, and then just keeping a close communication going forward as a group so that we can get this resolved.
Thank you.
One more thing, this is Janet Brooks. I'm sorry to backtrack and say something, but I'm perfectly happy to speak with your town attorney. If that's of any assistance, please feel free to have him be in touch. Thank you.
I'll leave that up to Attorney Roberts. I wish my clients did that for me sometimes, but I'll let him make that decision. I'm sure he'll reach out to you. Okay, so we're going to move along to the next agenda item, which is agent reports and correspondence. Do we have any agent reports or correspondence?
Not really. We'll be going out to Station 280, I believe, on the 18th, to just make sure that the site is picked up, that the trash is, taken care of. They should be at a better point in construction. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to report.
Good, thank you. Any commissioner reports, any correspondence we need to know about? Okay, all right. That brings us to item number 8 on our agenda, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Thank you, Fred. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
We're adjourned. Thank you. Thank you all.